Okay, we'll call the study session meeting to order. Would you all please rise? Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Bruner called me a little bit ago and said that he's just got a little bit too much pain. I told him that I think nobody really expected him here this morning, and he said he'd call and check on how we were doing after the meeting. And Derek has got some appointments this morning. He may not be here. He said the soonest he could get here would be 10:45, and I don't know whether we'll still be here at 10:45 because there's not a whole lot going on. Public comment? Hearing none.
Wait a minute, say something, Gary.
Hi, guys.
There you go.
Right.
Okay, committee reports. We'll move ahead. Andy, you want to go for yours?
I don't have a whole lot going on right now, I guess. I'll talk to anybody about, but I don't know if anybody's been up to see the flu working. Putting a lot of, how's that? Putting a lot, you looked at, hey,
I looked at it, but I didn't look at it outside.
Winter Wonderland around it.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen that.
It does it?
It did, you know.
I didn't see it. I mean, I was.
He was out last week with us, it's cold and frost and everything, so.
It was what?
But the day me and you and I said, wasn't that the week he was gone?
He was gone then,
Yeah.
wasn't he? But when it gets really cold, it puts out quite a bit of, I think it's mainly moisture, but trees turn brown in the spring, we'll know. There's a little more moisture in there, right there, but
I didn't see
still a good.
I mean, I went about there by where I thought it was going out. Maybe it wasn't one of those super cold days, but
Right.
I didn't even.
If it's not
I
super
didn't
cold,
see
you hardly, you
anything.
don't know, but when it
Yeah.
gets really cold, I do wanna put a CO2 detector in, Sandy's office.
I'm not sure Bob didn't.
Did he already do
I
that?
think those was, the fire inspectors were through last week, and I know the jail needed a bunch of new deals, and, you know, Bob bought a bunch of them, and I know we talked about it, I kinda understood he either did or was going to.
Okay, good, that's what I wanted him to do, is put one in there, just, I think it's fine.
Kinda right inside them windows there
Yeah,
somewhere.
just to make sure that everything's, I don't wanna think it's fine, I wanna make sure it's fine, so. Other than that, nothing right now.
Okay. Michael?
I want to get the ball rolling, and I don't know how we need to do this, but I would really like to make it so that if Dan or me or some of the other invalids in here have to be off, we could video conference into some of this stuff. And I know we've talked about it before, but we just never seem to do it. And I don't,
We need to pass a resolution. Augie can prepare that and put it on the agenda at the next meeting. After you all look at it, we'll have a chance maybe before the study session to get that ready. We can't just do it.
right, I realize that.
So,
But that'd be so handy for Dan today, if he could sit there and listen and talk, and, there's, like I noticed, when we did the special meeting for the sheriff's cars, that would have been an easy thing for me to just video conference in and said, yep, and been out, and I wouldn't have had to, Carl wouldn't have had to leave either if he just wanted to get on his phone and do that, so.
Okay, Augie, will you, make sure that the state's attorney sees it? And then
Yes.
maybe we'll have it ready for the next, study session and put it on the agenda for next month.
Yes.
That would be great.
Is that able, are they able to vote on that?
Yeah.
Okay, you're able to vote, and that's
Right.
legal. as
But
long
you
as
still,
vote.
don't you, there's some questions on what quorum allowed, he's actually present, et cetera,
Right,
et cetera.
that's what he
There's
needs to check. I
Yeah.
think we still have a physical quorum that's necessary.
Right, right.
But,
But if you were in Pasadena or something, you could, you know,
yeah, I'm sure that's the first thing he wants to do.
Actually, yeah, I'd put the 5-year-old, the 3-year-old, the 2-year-old. Why don't you guys talk to those
well,
guys
they
for a
could,
while?
they could have public comment. Yeah. It'd be a more productive public comment than we normally get.
Easy.
More enjoyable. The second thing I wanted to ask is, where are we at on the cars there, Sheriff?
Just gotta go pick them up.
Okay.
Check's been issued.
Okay.
Got the check in my vault, and I'm hopefully, I'm tied up tomorrow, maybe Wednesday I can get over and.
Okay. They know we're coming, though. They still got them. Okay. All right. That's my two major concerns. Number 3, I think we're gonna have to go to executive session here in a little bit, to talk about
Yep.
an employee, but other than that, that's about all I've, can you think of anything else I'm supposed to do? There's been some talk about the airport, and, I think one of the things that we wanna do is, move the, airport advisory meetings to the courthouse. I think you're probably aware of that, and I don't know if you are or not, Alan, but that's what we'd like to do in the future, and maybe cut those things down. I think we need to have some discussion about it too, on what, I know Carl has indicated to me, on the phone that he'd like to keep it. And, I'm sort of kind of wanting to do away with the airport advisory committee altogether. I don't think it's effective, but, you know, I'm not, since Derek's not here and he's in charge of it, I'm a member of the committee. I thought that this might be an appropriate time to talk about it.
Since he's not here, you
Yeah,
Well-
since he's not here.
No, I kind of know what his thoughts are, but what we,
Maybe we can, at our next study session, hopefully he'll be here, and
Okay.
then we can
it's not
I
a
think
big.
that would be,
Okay,
pass on what our thoughts are.
Okay.
And see what the rest of the board thinks.
okay. It'd be
but
nice
be
to take
thinking
it.
about it, and
Okay.
I'll let Mr. Brenner know to be thinking.
Okay,
I know, Derek has talked to me a little bit. It's all stuff we need to think about
Okay.
carefully, so that we proceed not just short term, but long term for the good.
that's all I've got.
Thank you, Mike. Carl?
Jeff, the sheriff called me last week, and dispatcher, correctional officer union wants to meet with us on February 3rd.
And I called Mr. Brenner, and he's cool with that.
Okay, February 3rd, 10 o'clock, wasn't it?
10 o'clock, yeah.
It's on a Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Next, not this Wednesday, next Wednesday. To continue on with negotiations.
So a meeting notice, Mr. Clerk, needs to be sent out to reflect that
Yes.
and the purpose of the meeting in an adequate time, so that we can have that at 10 o'clock on the 3rd at the Crickland Building.
Then also, Mr. Chairman, you need to be thinking about a committee to meet with the other union, the road deputies, on that sometime in the next couple weeks.
And I'll discuss that with,
Yeah,
you guys give me your input on how you feel that should be,
yeah.
okay?
My thinking is that I'd like to be on it, being chairman of the sheriff's committee, and I'd also like Mr. Zuber maybe to be on it, if possible, because he's the chairman of the insurance committee. And because, you know, the two issues that we're gonna be discussing is insurance and overtime.
And do you want maybe like Derek on it too?
Well, you can think about it.
I mean,
Yeah,
just think
right,
about that,
yeah.
okay?
Yeah.
Okay? Anything else?
That was one of the road deputy thing, not.
Yes.
Well, it'll be both of them, actually. I think the other union has indicated that they would like to participate in that also.
Right, yeah.
So it may be a combined meeting. I
Yeah,
don't
because
know.
those are two issues we've got with the other.
Right, and I can't see
Right.
having two separate meetings.
Well,
Right.
you might also be able to come to some kind of a concession where you can get them to change before you sign a contract with them. That might
You
be.
have to be careful about that.
Is that, yeah, can you do that legally? Can you talk about?
I don't know.
But what I was talking about, this is your follow-up off of the deputy's
Yes.
contract. We'll
Yeah.
start
There
meeting
can
with
be
them
with
about
protocol.
future ideas.
Right, the memorandum of understanding on just those two issues. Yeah. Did you have anything, Jeff?
Yeah,
On
I'll
that.
just, we'll bring up that we had the union meeting next week.
Have we still got a grievance or what on the payroll?
I don't think so right now.
That's disappeared? Okay, all right, good.
I basically sent them to the treasurer and he explained it to them and they,
Right. It was not anything arbitrary. We were just following the law and what our auditors said we had to do. There was no, there was no
right,
anything involved other than that.
That's the only thing I had.
Alan?
Don't really have too much. The only thing I do want to thank is our, Augie was out last week, but his office filled in very well for him. Part of being on the Chamber of Commerce part, then the Harris Area Future Leaders. It's a group every year they have to go around to the city and also the county. And I want to thank our county officials and Dina also for allowing me to escort these people around the courthouse and their spots. They did a good job. Tried to get hold of the sheriff, but he was busy in a meeting, so you know, he missed out on that opportunity to talk to
I heard I
somebody.
missed you.
Okay, so, but everybody was there, and the people that were part of the group also appreciated it, and they felt like, you know, obviously if you've never seen the courthouse or listened to people even talk for 5 or 6 minutes about what they do, it's important. So, again, just thank you to our elected officials and to Dina who helped us out. That's all I have.
Okay. Financially, as I told you, we have 16.6% of the year expired, and we're at 13.6% expenditures. We did get more money in from the state. The state is actually, it's almost warp speed on some of the stuff they can pay us. So
Is the state's attorney been that's not happening yet?
that's not happening, but
Is there a specific reason you think? Is that,
because it hasn't been budgeted. It's not part, that has to be budgeted. The other items that we're getting from the state are by statute collected by the state for us, and therefore we get them. And we range like sales tax, even though we've got 16% of the year gone, it's already at 31, supplemental is 21, income tax is at 19.8, local use is at 43, almost 44. Video games, now part of video games is a catch-up, but they're at 74% of the year, and personal property is the only one that's lagged behind, and it's paid every 2 months, so we gotta check. Anyway, it's at 15%, so we're doing pretty good on that.
does the county get anything from video poker and stuff like that? Is that video games, is that what you're talking about?
That's right, there's a percent in the county.
If it's in the city, does it?
They get the majority of the share, and then we get a little bit on every machine in the county.
I didn't realize that. I thought. in
Just a
any
little
munis-
bit.
Oh, we are. I thought all municipalities got their own thing, that's right. We didn't really generate that much from that because we.
It's about $600 a month.
From, yeah, but I thought that was just from our.
Geez, what does
one or
the
two
city get?
spaces.
I have no idea.
It's online. I've looked it up before.
Huh.
Let's see. I do have a letter that I will distribute from Diamond Brothers that you folks asked for and I requested, involving insurance coverage for the hangars. Jeff, I don't think you need one. I'll
That's
give
okay.
you one if you like. But basically, it's very clear about what we need to have as far as commercial leases, that we, you know, somebody operating at the airport as a business, and we're doing that. And it finally, even though we knew that there was a change, or at least how we were handling the hangars, the T hangars was maybe a little bit too restrictive. Here it puts in writing what we've basically been operating off of for over a year. So this is information that you need to draw up the new leases with the T hangars, and should be done fairly shortly so that we can enter into it. I also met with the state's attorney. If you have any questions about that, he has no judgment. He says, I think the lease he has, you can write in whatever. If you want to, if somebody wants a 3-year lease, that's up to you. If somebody wants a 1-year lease, that's up to you. We can offer them as per whatever you guys tend to recommend, and then the board passes. He did say that he did remember that there were some comments made on a couple of leases that we have in the file that we may take to heart. He has no problems with the liability portion that one suggested, where they said that something about, and I'm just guessing, it's on the lease, but because he hand wrote it in,
Yeah,
that,
right.
okay, that we accept no liability under any circumstances. Well, we can't indemnify ourselves like that. But he'd just like to see it. Once you have it, he'll take a quick look, and then you guys can proceed with that.
While we're on that subject, is there pros and cons to 1 versus 3? Because it seems to me, 3-year, why have to mess with it every year? Does anybody have any?
I think our people that use the leases would prefer a longer term, but it's breakable anyway, so.
I mean, did you tell me something when we were talking about that I forgot about why we shouldn't have a 3-year versus a 1-year?
Well, it's in the contract that it's automatically renews unless there's notice given or something. I
Yeah.
don't know that I have it in front of me, so but as long as there's ways to get out of it, if circumstances change and something comes up that, they're causing you problems, then maybe need to be there.
Okay.
Carl, does that pretty much make it clear to you? It's basically the second paragraph. The first paragraph is commercial, the second paragraph. You might read that, so if I need to go back to the well, but I think
Well, it's a little vague to me about do we or don't we require.
it would be nice to have a certificate of insurance.
Right.
And all they have to do is show us.
Right.
It's just kind of like when you get stopped
Right.
for hopefully not a driver, or for a ticket, you don't have to file your insurance certificate with the Secretary of State.
Right, right,
But when they ask you for it,
right. You show them.
you show them,
got it.
and you move on,
Right.
okay?
And I don't think that there's any way that person, that officer could, I don't think he can publicly decry that. I don't think that's,
I just was trying to clear this up so that we can move forward without all the issues
right, right,
and the minutia,
right.
okay?
Which part is that on? Where-
Paragraph 2. Probably,
So what is the deal if they show us and we take a picture of it or we scan it?
well, no, we have people that don't want to do that.
And you know why?
No, I don't.
Because there has been instances in the past where somebody FOIA'd that information, got on the phone, called the insurance company, and made up some tremendous whopper that caused these people anguish and concern. It turned out it's not provable. And now the insurance company does a big investigation on it and says, well, what about this, what about this? I don't want to be the catalyst to cause one of our customers out there a problem. It's none of anybody's business who your insurance company is, as far as I'm concerned.
How would that be foiable then?
It is.
Or if it is, or then if it is foiable, then why still wouldn't we have it?
Because we don't need it. And that's what our insurance company says.
So what we're doing is like we're having our airport manager, I assume, then look at their proof of insurance, so to speak.
Read the last
Right.
sentence.
I don't know what.
I would think
I'm
you
not
have-
gonna- I mean, I don't know, that's why I'm asking, I'm not reading it. I can
In the
figure it out.
contract, you have a thing that says we have inspected and you do have proof of insurance,
So
mark
we
that
have-
box.
Yeah, so we have an airport manager or somebody signing off and saying,
Chairman of the
I have
committee.
seen.
The chairman of the airport committee of the county board or anyone else so designated. So you got several people that would be able to verify.
But somebody signing off on that they've seen.
That they've seen it.
Right,
And
and that would
is
be-
on a year-to-year basis then, or whatever?
Mhm.
Just like your other insurance for your car would be, or, okay. That's what I'm saying, more so than like,
I just said-
Andy and I are out there saying, yeah, I saw it, yeah, well, like,
Right.
big deal, I mean.
And we do have several leases, and I'm not gonna get into how they got to be, but we do have several leases that were made for like 5 years that don't require it. So, I mean, so we have to be, I can't say you need to do it, you don't have to,
Right, right.
you have to do something else.
Right.
We need one way to deal with this issue,
Right.
okay?
That's what I'm.
No,
You-
that's
you
fine.
clarify.
And in
Right.
essence, just so I understand
Alan,
it,
I understand.
in essence, a typical situation would be some guy leases a building out there, pulls his airplane in there, leaves 20 minutes later, catches on fire and burns the whole hangar down. That's the liability we're talking about. Or he hits,
Eclipse our building.
Yeah.
Eclipse another wing on another plane.
okay, that's
We
all.
need to make sure that they are covered by adequate insurance.
That's just common sense, because who are the aggrieved people gonna come after if Billy Bob doesn't have insurance?
Well, they're probably
can't
gonna come,
do it.
well, they'll probably come after us anyway.
Anyway,
But we do have that, and then our attorneys go, look, we have this lease, they have this insurance, go see them.
Is there any law, I mean, if I drive a car, I have to have at least liability insurance. Is there any law from the FAA that requires that you have insurance anyway?
I can't tell you for sure.
I mean, it
There
would
are
seem to me
cer-
if,
In other words, there are
So-
certain insurances that if you're a pilot, you have to have, but I'm not
Okay.
sure what those are.
I just say common sense, it says we should have it.
But this covers us
Well,
and
yeah.
our taxpayers. We're doing our fiduciary thing there.
And do you know, Jeff, just off the top of your head, we're not talking about a huge amount of money. I mean, it's not thousands and thousands of dollars to
No.
have.
And there's nothing to produce a certificate of insurance, that costs nothing.
Alan, you act.
It's the first time I've seen it, that's why.
Well, I got it 15 minutes ago, so, well, half an hour ago, sorry. I just was happy to get it, and I wanted to share it, and so your committee can move on, guys, and get it taken care of.
One thing I might mention while we're talking about the budget
Sure.
is, I was just looking at the sheriff's budget on overtime. And you mentioned that we're at 16% through the year. According to this, he's at 22% on overtime, but that also does not include this last payroll.
Yes, it does. The last payroll last week is on there.
This was done on January 12th and the,
Oh, mine, I'm sorry. Carl, I'll give you mine.
okay.
I'm sorry. I'm thinking that you're looking at what I'm looking at.
You know, basically,
Overtime is at 38.45%.
and we've been 2 months.
We're 27,000 against 70. And we haven't done anything about the other issue yet either, which, happens to be the number. We're at 23% on deputies right now.
Right, so,
And where are we at, year-wise, 17?
16, 6, yeah, 17.
so.
Because we haven't done anything about the budget.
So, that's why we need to get this meeting set up, have a conversation with them, and see where we're headed, and then we're gonna have to make some tough decisions here, real quick.
Yes, sir, absolutely. Does anybody have anything else for
You didn't ask Andy yet, did you?
Yeah,
Well, he was first.
Okay.
It's all right.
Not
You
listening
keep
to
me
you,
on the,
Just not listening to you, that's it.
I do remember carbon monoxide, we got mentioned too in a certain illegitimate periodical, I'll call it, that we were gassing people at the courthouse. We have been for years, so by golly, it's a good thing you took care of it.
you need to save some,
you gotta trim down the staff somehow.
That's right.
Can I have a motion to go into executive session
Just
for?
real
Oh,
quick,
I'm sorry,
uh,
Jeff.
I don't know if I need to wait till this session. We talked the other day about with the K-9 grant coming, putting that money in a separate account. Do I need to get with Don to set that up?
Yeah, well, I've mentioned it to him too.
Well, they called me this morning and said the check should be here tomorrow,
Oh, okay.
so.
Oh, so they're not gonna pay piece by piece by piece?
No,
There's-
they just send us a check for,
Okay.
See, that way, it's up to you guys.
Do we have to vote on that, Jeff, to put that in there? We can just do it? Okay.
But if you want it run through 100, then you're gonna have to, it'll show more income, but then it'll show more, that expenditure, it'll be a wash. Or do you wanna set it up in a separate account so that you can, account for it?
How I don't understand, do you have to do that through his budget though?
No.
So it's not gonna reflect?
No, it won't reflect. One way will, another way won't.
Okay.
I suggest, and it's just a suggestion, I'm only one, that we run it through a 800 account, and that way you see exactly what comes in and exactly what comes out.
Well, and another question's come up too, like the city's getting all these donations and stuff. Do I wanna set it up as like a K-9 account? And that way if we get, if somebody wants to, give us $100 or $1,000,
You could put it
they
right
could
in
go
there.
right into that 800 and
Right.
with this Buffett money, we'll put 82,000 or whatever, and then when we get done with everything, it should be basically zero.
Right, except for any donations
Right.
that you accept for it. And then in a year or so, it'll still be there. And hypothetically, if they have something that you could reapply to, we already have the account set up, okay?
Yeah, 'cause Ed had set up that for the jail donations.
Which
Yeah.
still's there, and I think
Right.
there's 20-some $100 in
Yeah.
that account, so. Okay?
So just get with Don and set up however.
Right, and I have talked to him, so he's knows that
Go
you're
up after
coming
this
in.
meeting,
Okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate all your work on this. Okay, do we have a motion to go in exec session?
I'll make a motion.
Oh, I can do that.
You're the motion maker?
Well, thank you very much. I move that we go into closed session, discuss employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of specific employees of the public body, pending litigation and negotiation. Yep, all that good stuff.
Thank you, Mr. Zuber. Mr. Zuber's made a motion. Is there a second, please?
I second it.
Mike seconds. All in favor of going to executive session as for the purposes that Alan outlined in his motion, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. We are. Gary, did you have a question or anything? We're not gonna take any action.
No, I know you don't, not
Okay.
around here. I do have a question.
They're everywhere.
I know
You have moles in your department, they have
That's true.
moles in their department.
I got holes in my
We're back
yard.
in open session.
Okay,
What's the temporary fix on that box? I was just
It's
curious.
gonna be bracing, it sounds like it's gonna be bracing. The drawing is complete, they did it in one day, I got a verbal, you guys haven't been caught up on this.
Underway.
I
Well,
got a verbal,
I
Jeff,
should've went the other way.
Well, I'm
I can
Proceed.
spend 30,000 without any bidding or.
Guys, I need to get back to the old plantation, and we got anything
Bracing.
else we want to
Okay.
talk
no,
about?
if you need to go.
You guys have two projects, you got a bracing project that we're racing to get done.
It's under 30.
We have, should be plenty under 30, and we're gonna work with either ourselves or Newell. Oh, by the way, the district is pushing against us with day labor, if you guys wanna hear some politics. Hard. And
They're giving
that
pressure?
means twice as much.
Is that the union you think behind it, or?
Every other county, if you go down to Clark, Coles, Effingham's putting this exact structure in that we wanna put in, Effingham County's Highway Department is putting in the exact structure that we wanna put on Horse Brockton Road, and we're getting pushback. Clark County's engineer had a very strong meeting with the District 7 folks, different districts, said, I'll be laying off if I can't do day labor.
I don't care.
So they let him. He's done Conlog Road Extended.
Okay, good.
He's doing a $2 million day labor project. And just so you know, my most recent spoonful over there was, we got money set up to fix this culvert with our people, aluminized plate structure that Dirk's built before. And we don't know about letting you do that day labor. And I'm telling you guys, as a responsible board, who may be pro-union or anti-union or wherever you're at politically, that it's half if we do it. Half. It's a quarter for engineering here. It's a half for construction. I've said that for 5 years and nothing's changed.
Well, we're all for that.
Well, no, the district's now pushing back and saying, boy, we don't know if we're gonna let you do day labor.
What's their reasoning?
I don't know.
Can they?
I think if the county board got wound up enough, they probably,
Then you keep us posted and
Probably
what do
could.
we
I
need
They could
to?
probably
I think-
do what? Or they could tell you that you can't do it? or
we
they
have to
can.
submit a day labor application every time. So we put our resume in. We say, well, here's what we've got and what we've done. And, you know, the day I walked in here, that resume wasn't quite as
Good as it is now.
strong as it is today. So here we are, 6 or 7 years later, I'm saying, well, now we want to put a box in. Boy, that's an awful big box. And they start reaching. They say, well, you're kind of slow getting stuff done. And I mean, we can behave more aggressively.
Pushback for people.
If you hear that, when
It
you,
is. It is.
Hey, Bruce, you put your around here. We need to make sure that
Browner,
Oh, Bruce.
I hope
Yeah.
that's okay.
You need to get Bruce to give us 100,000.
All right.
Okay, so we're gonna put a bracing together. There's two projects, a bracing project that we're racing to get done. You'll see signs and you'll hear grumbling. There's signs gonna say 12 tons. As soon as I get here, I gotta put them up under the microscope. Then the second, the Central Bridge Office says it's okay to put these steel beams and waste money, not waste, but expend some cash to try to prop this thing up until you can do a more permanent fix. Then we'll do that and take the signs down. I asked Coshocton to help us. I called Coshocton, I've got a good relationship with them. I said, could you provide the material, or can you help me with this fix, you and Cargill? And he said, he says, you guys do a great job, we're so happy, the roads are great, blah, 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 I'll see what I can do, but
Well, at least you asked.
Yeah, I was wondering about that.
But then there was a contact made to Francis and Associates to help get money, which I don't know why Ron would go to Francis Associates on County Highway, to be honest, but he did. So then,
You heard a no on that, did you?
huh,
You heard a specific no on that, did you?
on,
From Francis and Associates?
no, Francis jumped right on there.
Oh.
They said, yeah, we'll help you find money. Told Ron that.
But they wouldn't be in favor of day labor or anything else. probably.
No, Francis doesn't have anything to do with it. My point is, I don't know why Ron went to Francis and
Coshocton?
Associates. Yeah, they have nothing to do with the county highway system at all, nothing, but. I asked Ron to try to come up with a little bit of money for material, and I think he went to Bob and said, can you find me money for material? I don't know, but, and that's not above board. A private partnership, a private-public partnership is not exactly something you want to shine light on. Like
That's what we're doing, aren't we?
But you don't necessarily want to shine light on it. It probably could be deemed illegal.
Oh, I hope, I would hope the public wanted to do something for us as the county, or that would be a great deal.
You can take gifts. I've looked in the, they can actually give us money.
Yeah.
Just be really transparent with it.
Yeah.
But you try, but sometimes it's Coshocton saying, we'll pay half the engineering.
I gotta get guys.
Guys, thanks for asking. Please never be bashful. Ask anything you want. Anything you hear or anything you want to have a question answered on. We have nothing to hide.
Sheriff, just stay up to jail work. No arrest,
Anything else?
no indictment.
Thank
Do
you.
we have anything?
I'm sorry you guys were, that I put you in position.
Motion to adjourn?
So
We wanna talk about the,
Oh,
It
yeah.
was good to talk.
sorry to be the guy.
That's why I asked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you didn't-
I was
So where you
listening.
going, Mike?
I gotta get back to the plant.
I'll be right back.
Look, Mike's leaving, Barry. Can you leave that?
You gotta chuck the bars in the gymnastics gym.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all. We don't even have to say, no, Mike left the meeting, because it's obvious.
Because it's obvious.
If you want to get done, start talking, Derek.
Yeah.
Yeah, well. Glad I missed the first part.
That clock changes during a
It
meeting.
never changes.
When I
It's
kick,
like 11:43, and it's always behind. I know. Sitting here as a veteran of this, I've been off most of my
What a
life sitting here.
What a FaceTime with that clock right there.
Yeah, I was like, the only one that's coming
Right.
back is Jeff. You want to start?
Well,
or you just wanna
I
wait
think
for
Jeff
Mike?
is, unfortunately,
the one who needs to hear
yeah,
it.
he probably needs to hear it, so, unfortunately. If you have any questions about the airport, I'd be glad to field those at this time.
Any question about the airport, what?
The changes coming down the pipe.
Do we have any changes coming down the pipe in the airport realm?
Do we?
Okay,
We're bidding the fuel.
we're gonna bid some fuel,
Some fuel.
okay?
What else can we talk about? We're gonna pay Hanson,
Bay Hanson, who is our
engineer,
chief engineer.
We're gonna pay Hanson. How much do we pay?
half of what they originally asked for the retread planning,
Okay.
thanks to concerned citizens. So original bill was to the tune of 18,000. We're gonna pay them 9.
Okay.
We talked about that issue, Mills. So the consensus with Mills is basically let them know that when the contract is up, it's up unless there is some very serious sign of intent, basically breaking ground, staking out ground, things like that, or a much sweeter deal on that hangar rent. But
Well, then you and I, when we left him, said we were gonna get, are we gonna go back and tell him that?
Yes.
Face to face?
Yeah.
So we need to set up a meeting. Okay, that's what I need him to know. Because I didn't it actually was supposed to take place last week.
Right.
And you wanted to make sure everybody, okay, that's fine,
So I think we're on the same page on that one.
that's fine.
But then we need to probably do a written notification to him in February.
Okay, the way the contract reads is
So
that
many
if
days.
you want to do it, you have to do it.
To
It doesn't-
extend it, but
Just to make sure.
I would feel more comfortable if we at least sent him a letter,
Saying,
you know,
this is over with unless you're,
right.
Now, to that end, do we want to stipulate, what the re-up on the rent minus any kind of construction is gonna be as far as dollars?
I don't think that has anything to do with his end of his original contract, does it?
What about if you would like to renew this contract, it will be at the stated value of X.
I'm
I
not
thought
sure
you were
you
just
could.
talking about ending just so he would have formal official notice, even though he's already has it. I think according to Jeff, you just want to double check that he knows it's the end if we haven't seen anything by that
So,
time.
yeah, so the discussion was, we're unhappy with the status quo now, so we're not gonna re-up under those same conditions.
Okay.
So either there is a hard and fast, like no kidding, he's got engineers out there staking ground to put in something, or, we renegotiate this rental contract as is with a new dollar amount that is 50%, whatever we decide it is.
That's fine.
Is that something that, though, that
That
you
same period of time.
could put it in there without worrying about a dollar figure right now? I don't know, you know what I'm saying, because wouldn't that be up to negotiations or not? No, you're just gonna set up what you think what it should be.
What we're willing to let him continue renting at, I think, right? I mean,
How did his last contract work? 'Cause I guess I'm curious.
It's still intact.
And
and
he's
I'm
paying,
not
he's paying
sure-
on it?
yes,
Yeah,
Okay,
paying monthly rent.
okay.
It's actually-
2,000, I think.
$1,100. Now, I'm not sure that we have the leeway to ask for more money than last year. I think you could open it up if we both agree to, but he doesn't, I think we just need to discuss it.
Sure.
With him and say, unless you're willing to do something different than what's happening right now, we don't see any reason to have a third year of this contract.
And I guess that's.
So he has a
that's
three-year
what-
contract,
no.
he's exercised two.
He has two, but then he has to say he wants the third for a specific reason, and we both have to agree to that contract.
And you might, I wouldn't hesitate to go back somewhat on a friendly basis, say, we haven't seen anything at this point.
Oh, we're
We're willing to
friendly.
let you out,
Yes.
I understand things change, we're willing to let,
I guess that's why I was saying, more so than complicate Carl's idea of having a letter saying, it says in your contract, if you don't do this, it's done at the end of two, if I understood that when I read it a long time ago. This is just your formal official notice, this is over, we can start other negotiations.
Unless
You
we
so
hear
desire.
something in writing.
Yeah, unless
Unless
we
you-
see something in writing or unless we meet, that way you can start again.
yeah.
And it's two different things.
Has anybody talked to him since?
Not since
We
this,
talked
we
to him
have
3
talked to
weeks,
him.
was it 3 weeks ago?
I'm curious to what his reason for not doing anything up to this point.
He's been blaming the feds on approving some of the improvements or the retrofitting he wants to do to airplanes.
Okay.
He's also concerned about going out there and being part of us with all of the brouhaha constantly swirling around the airport. And kind of said to us, unless we can get the house in order, it's going to be very difficult to get anybody.
There's also some concerns about competitive issues. If he puts in the infrastructure, he wants to have something, set in stone, regulations on the airport, or any competitors coming on and not paying some sort of fee to him, or something to basically,
Competition clause of some sort.
Yeah.
Okay.
He wants some operational,
Stability.
well, not only that, but some policies on airport operations.
the, according to Mike, there's some, it's all posturing, basically to keep this as a lever against Holman, which I don't know, I mean, that might be the case. I would understand if it were. So, and, the FAA flight clearances issue, that can go on forever. There's no telling how long that would take before they get that approved. So, just kind of the consensus of the owners out at the airport, they think there's some opportunity to be had as far as having that once again open to the public for the various uses that it was used in the past, like that. And so would be willing, from their perspective, to forego some of the rental income in order to have the possibility in the future to go forward. Now, the conversation amongst us was, what is the dollar figure where we're willing to continue the lease as far as his presence there in the hangar. So, and I don't know what the exact dollar number is, but that would be at least worth entertaining, because certainly if he is posturing, that is worth a lot more to him than maybe $1,000 a month. If it's $2,000 a month, then, I mean, that'd be really hard to say no to.
Right.
So, I don't know, what the next step is, but I think that's certainly worth entertaining.
Yeah.
Well,
We
it
need to-
looks like you're gonna have to, either he or us, if they wanna extend this, is that how you read that again?
Yes.
90 days prior to that
Which is
whatever it was.
March
6th.
So it's March 6th. Is that true 90 days? I don't know, but anyway, it's the rough.
So
amount.
basically, if we're gonna have to take some type of action by the board to notify him.
If nobody does anything, the contract ends.
It's over.
Right, but I agree, but I feel more comfortable if we at least notify him that
Right, and I understand.
this is the end. And if it takes action by the board, then we gotta do it at our February meeting. Because our March meeting is on the 9th, and that's less than 90 days. I mean, I just feel more comfortable to be looking at February 10th to notify him if that's what we choose to do. And maybe in the next 2 weeks, you can have, or in the next week, have a conversation with him to see what his thinking is.
Right.
If he's any closer to doing anything, or, but it's the recommendation of the committee to end.
Unless there's something else that comes up that we're not aware of.
Correct.
Okay.
It's reasonable.
And so if he were to agree to paying more rent, it would still be a different contract, and we would terminate this lease as it stands right now, right?
Or you could do an addendum, whatever the state's attorney tells us.
Right.
What, no? Yes?
No, I think you need a new contract. I mean.
Well, that's fine.
Again, state's attorney, that's what I would lean to, but.
Whatever he
I'm just saying,
says.
this is this, and it's pretty well set the way it is. I think you're just trying to almost be nice a little bit and say, hey, just in case we all forgot about this 90-day beforehand.
And
we
we
need
may
to make
call
some
him up and he goes,
determination.
nope, I'm done.
Yeah.
Right.
We may need to have this determination, just so we're all sitting down and talking, just remind ahead of time.
The T-hanger leases, we got this information, we're putting together some changes to that. The thoughts of the committee were that we need to basically have airplanes in there. If there's a waiting list, we need to have some manner of, as we re-up the leases, visual inspection. I don't know what the considerations are there, but that would be the easy answer, is, hey, we're here to re-up your lease. We kind of talked, you and I talked about, about the insurance. We don't need an actual copy of the insurance. We just need to see proof. Our airport manager will say, yes, that is proof of insurance. Sign his
He
name.
should have a form that
Sure.
is an addendum to their lease, that I've inspected the form.
So to include, because there's I think at least one T-hanger space that has no airplane, that hasn't for some time. So we talked about a little bit about the verbiage along with that. Is it something that would be an airplane if you assemble all the parts? That's the rest of the side. That's kind of was my thinking there. Was our thinking as far as the re-up on the T-hanger leases. Questions about that? All right, and the final and most important piece is about the way forward as far as the Airport Advisory Committee goes. Talked about having the Airport Advisory Committee now meet at the courthouse. We will have for the time being, request a county officer there present, and we'll basically proceed like that. Was there, did someone, or we're gonna wait, we're gonna actually talk to Spencer, about, taking a position on the advisory committee. But, yeah, so nothing really changes as far as the advisory committee. They will still have the same role insofar as they will give us their opinion for people in the community. And then, with all, information necessary to make a decision, the three members of the county board that are on that committee will make a recommendation to the board. Questions about that? That's all I got.
I talked to you, we talked to the engineers, and the project is 75% designed, correct?
Right.
I'm trying to remember, make sure I've got
Yep,
it right.
so it goes to them, then it goes to the state, and it goes to the feds. And then, timeline was.
There's an environmental that got mailed. The
Yeah,
environmental
hold up.
might wind up delaying it for one bid. Not because there's any problem, but because it's just their nature to take that long. If they approve the bids in April, they wouldn't be awarded until June 1st. And that's when we'd have to come up with the money at the award. If it was delayed, it would be basically a June letting, and we'd have to come up with and it'd be awarded in August. And that's when we'd have to come up with the money back.
And at most, 71,000 would be the maximum.
It could be in the 50s, but max 70 to 71. And we have two different ways to consider funding. Anything else you have a question about, Derek, since you went there?
Did I miss anything good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, are you looking for a motion?
Yes, I am.
I make a motion that, you want to make that motion? No, no,
I think you're best suited.
I'll make that motion that we adjourn this meeting.
A second?
Second.
All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, gentlemen. We're not thinking we were gonna be here that long, it's changed a little bit.